One of the Seahawks players that I was most excited about from the 2022 NFL Draft was Charles Cross out of Mississippi State. He was an offensive tackle that I ranked second on my board, and I was beyond thrilled that Seattle took him with the 9th overall pick. In this video, I wanted to look at his preseason debut. I wanted to see how he played against the Steelers on his 37 snaps and give you my general thoughts from this game. Before we begin though, if you can do me a huge favor and like and subscribe to the channel, I would greatly appreciate it. So anyways, I want to show you my two favorite players from this game. They both happened at the end of the second quarter. The Seahawks were lining up in shotgun with the running back on the strong side of the formation. Meanwhile, the Steelers had 6 men in the box. They were lining up in a 4-2 over front where the edge rushers were lining up in wide 9 techniques. This play came on a 3rd and 2 from the Seahawks' own 47-yard line. Since this play came with under 2 minutes left in the half, the Steelers were thinking pass all the way. They guessed correctly that the Seahawks didn't want to run the ball. The Steelers rushed 4 while the nickelback Arthur Maulet faked like he was blitzing off the left edge. From the Seahawks perspective, Seattle was running a half-slide, half-man protection. This means that Cross is responsible for the end man on the line of scrimmage. Number 53 is attempting to use a swipe rip move to round the corner and penetrate the pocket. After the snap, Cross stays patient with his kick steps. His goal is to gain depth, but also to shorten the distance between himself and the edge rusher without giving up the inside lane. 53 goes for the downward swipe. He doesn't break Cross's strong arm, and as 53 is attempting to rip around the edge, Cross uses his right hand to spin the edge rusher so he loses balance. 53 then hits the ground. Cross isn't content with getting him down there. He then finishes the play by pancaking the edge rusher, which allows the quarterback to escape the pocket and pick up the first down. While this admittedly wasn't a great pass rush by the edge rusher, Cross's play can't be minimized because of this. I love the finish. I love how he used his hands and body weight to control the edge rusher to make sure he didn't rip in the pocket. I also love that he stayed balanced all the way through the snap. His footwork to mirror is why I really liked him coming out of college. Now, before we look at our second example, I want to give a huge shout out to HelloFresh for sponsoring this week's video. HelloFresh is here to make eating better and easier. No grocery stores or stressful meal planning, just everything to prepare a wholesome, delicious meal all delivered to your door. This week, my wife and I tried the crispy buffalo spice chicken. It was so incredibly good. The produce was fresh and had a ton of flavor, the meat was portioned perfectly for both to share, and the recipe was so easy to follow it made the entire experience effortless. They have foolproof step-by-step recipes that make cooking simple and fun. Now, not only was everything delicious, but HelloFresh helps you reach your goals. They offer vegetarian, pescatarian, and fit and wholesome options that make it easy to stick to your plan. With these options, you can feel good about your choices without sacrificing any flavor. If you go to HelloFresh and use my code SamGold16, you can get 16 free meals across 7 boxes and 3 gifts. Again, go to HelloFresh.com and use my code SamGold16 to get 16 free meals across 7 boxes and 3 gifts. Back to the breakdown, let's look at our second example. This play came on Cross's next snap. If you recall from the previous play, Geno Smith escaped the pocket on the left side after Cross leveled number 53 to the ground. Once again, the Steelers are lining up in a 4-2 over wide 9 alignment. This time, Cross was facing number 50. Given the same alignment as last time, the Seahawks once again called a half-slide, half-man protection. For this snap, the major thing I want you to focus on is Cross's hand usage on the outside. His technique on this play is incredible. It's very subtle what he did, but it allowed him to win the snap from the beginning. After the play began, Cross took his kick steps to gain positioning on the edge rusher from the outside. At this point in the play, Cross's hands are outside his frame ready for the block. However, as soon as he saw the edge rusher start to take a swipe, Cross pulled both hands down. He literally baited the edge rusher into swiping thin air. Since the edge rusher missed that initial contact, Cross could then grapple his outside shoulder and stop him in his place. Now granted, Geno was able to get rid of the ball quickly. However, preventing quick wins like this one is all you can ask from an offensive lineman. The hand usage is key here. It allowed him to win his snap with ease, and it gave Smith a clean pocket even if he had to work his way through another read. Cross was ready for that, and this rep was definitely a win for him. Generally speaking, I really liked what I saw from Cross in his debut. He didn't face a high quality of pass rushers, but he looked really good in his movements. He was aware when the defense attempted to use a stunt on the outside, and he blocked that with ease. Now from an improvement standpoint, I did feel like he got a bit off balance in his footwork and his body lean whenever a defensive lineman attempted to make a second move. Sometimes, I felt like he had trouble staying square through the block. At that point, you would see him lean too much, and I just felt like he needed to do a better job of staying balanced and square through that second attack. I do think that there are some speed elements and some bull rush power that he'll have to get used to in the pros. Now, as a run blocker, I felt like he did a great job with his positioning all game. One thing to note is that Cross was never going to be dominant with that skill set. Even against college defenders, he was never the type of offensive lineman that was going to bully defenders and beat them up down the field. It was always his positioning that made me happy. I think he did get beaten to a spot on a couple of his reach blocks in the Seahawks zone runs, but I don't think his performance was bad at all. It was decent, but far from spectacular. Overall, I really liked what I saw from Cross in his debut. Against the Steelers, Cross did face a bunch of backups for most of his snaps. The true test will be against players like TJ Watt. For example, in Cross's Week 1 game against the Broncos, he'll have to face edge rushers like Randy Gregory and Bradley Chubb. Both have a ton of talent, and that game will certainly be something we should keep an eye on. Well, that's all I have for you in this breakdown. With the season finally starting, I'm going to be more frequent in my videos, so make sure you like and subscribe to the channel. Also, if you want to support me directly, feel free to follow the link to my Patreon account below. As always, you can find me on Twitter at Samuel R. Gold.